So I'm doing a different kind of video today because after 6 years, I think, someone left kudos on my AO3 fanfiction. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're reading a fanfiction from 2019. I think I started it back in 2018, so it would have been exactly 6 years ago when I started writing on Archive of Our Own, and I used to do it literally in this very same bedroom where I wrote two novels that I've now published. One of them is in development for a feature film, but seeing that, it brought back flashbacks from a time when I wasn't a published author, but I used to still write in these very same settings, and I think I wasn't altogether that different. But I just wanted to read this out to you so that you can see what 15-year-old me, now a published author, used to write back in 2018 on AO3. Now I've got AO3 on my tablet here, so let's get into it. I've always been a really, really huge Marvel fan. You can actually see a big Marvel poster behind me, and I've got Deadpool and Wolverine, I've got a few other Marvel stuff. But back in 2018, back when Infinity War and Endgame and all those fan theories and all that stuff was really at its peak, I was at the peak of the peak. I mean, I was obsessed. I was beyond obsessed. I've always been a huge Marvel and DC fan, and probably like being able to, at some point in my career, if I would be able to either write something that's related to Marvel or DC or work with a writer that's Marvel or DC, I feel like at that point I would feel like, yeah, this is the peak of my career, I can retire now. And that's probably what I thought when I was 15 as well. So my fanfiction is called Flashback, and username is Stony Kid, but Stony instead of an O, it's a C. Here's the summary. After Thanos' snap, the Avengers travel back in time to get the Infinity Stones. When Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, Scott Lang, and Bruce Banner travel back to the 2012 New York battle, things don't go exactly as they had initially planned. While our Avengers left 2012 and saved everyone in their timeline, this timeline in 2012 was left with a lot of problems. Would you like to know how the same Avengers that we love handled this experience that their future selves destroyed for them? Then welcome back to 2012, dear reader. I'm giving Bridgerton here, where the world is much darker than the Avengers remember. So before Marvel made the Loki series, I was already onto something. In a small apartment in Brooklyn, Captain Rogers stood silently on his bed, thinking about what his other self had told him. What if Bucky was really alive? What if the man was warning him about something? What if he could see his beloved friend again? Oh my god, I gave Steve a dream flashback. Bucky, he yelled. Wait up, Buck. You know I'm not that fast. Steve looked down at himself and realized why he couldn't run. He too was a child, and even though his consciousness told him that something wasn't right, can't even read, he still ran after the other child. Bucky, on the other hand, was fast and wild. His height was way better than Steve's, and his health too. Bucky, stop, come on, pal, yelled out Steve in frustration, even though his voice sounded a bit squeaky. Steve, said Bucky, trembling. You could have saved me, Steve. Now look what you've done. You know, a lot of this might actually be more decent than my published books. Oh my god, it's Romanodges. Are you alright, Miss Romanoff? Asked Steve, a bit worried. That's the Winter Soldier, she whispered. And she told him that part of the story, about the Winter Soldier shooting her. She didn't know that that had been Barnes, Hydra's greatest weapon. And now Miss Captain Marvel showed up. Growing up, Carol had heard a lot of conspiracies in the army about the man who was now standing in front of her, flesh and blood. She always took him as a role model, of course, wanted to be like him, didn't we all? I'm going to make a part 2 if you guys actually want to see the entire build-up, because there's so much more left.